Hey guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel. And this week I went back to school. Writing school. This is kind of a weird experiment that I'm running. It is my longest experiment yet. It's a 10-week long experiment. And it came about because I had this vague concept of an idea that I offered up to my patrons in like a weird zeitgeisty sort of way. Other people like linked ideas together. We got on at different stops, but we were riding the train together. Does that make sense? So basically the initial idea I had that I put up to my patrons was setting up a sort of structure. I've done experiments where I wrote like my corporate routine, sort of 9 to 5-y sort of things. I've set up an ideal writing day. It's been a while since I did both of those experiments, and I always loved the sort of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, certain classes structure of college, of university. As someone who writes in multiple projects, it feels very akin to those sort of classes you have certain days. Then I got a wonderful comment from Caitlin talking about how she thought about doing something similar, setting up particular classes where a couple of them are going to be like her novels, specifically a short story class, taking Brandon Sanderson's free lecture series as a class. And I was like, oh, now wait a minute. And then Maria put together Wintering. I loved this book. This is the kind of nonfiction book I think you can read multiple times and take different things away from it and kind of just grow and expand. But this idea of like a seasonal approach to creativity, really, and really allowing yourself to move with the season. So in winter you are resting, you're recovering. In spring maybe you're blossoming, you feel more creativity, just sort of things like that. So piecing it all together, I was like, I'm gonna have a summer writing semester. So now I took some time. I figured out what sort of 5 writing classes I wanted to take. I even have them in my calendar for certain days of the week. And on top of that, I created a syllabus for the classes, what I wanted to accomplish in the 10-week time. So the first class is Finish Your Damn Novel, of which I have 2 damn novels that I'm working on. This perfectly coincides with Camp NaNoWriMo for me, where that is also my goal. I'm hoping to finish this draft of Project Death. I'm hoping to finish this draft of A Closet Full of Cauldrons. And that's basically exclusively what Finish Your Damn Novel's about. So when I broke that syllabus down into weekly assignments, basically I had 5,000 and 2,500 words. So if you saw my Camp Nano vlog, you already kind of know where I got this from. Then I have a brand management class, a reading class, a short story submission class, and how to structure a series class, to make 5. And so a bit of a spoiler, this hair is doing wonky things, don't mind it. I did submit a flash fiction to an online magazine during this week. I did write all my freaking words I needed during this week. I updated my website, changed the YouTube banner, did a bunch of things. I had a bunch of things on the list. So I set up all the assignments I needed for the first 3 weeks, and then I have a week where I'm basically going to be like out of office. I'm not going to be there for the full week, and so I'm taking that as a time to regroup. As I'm someone who typically shoots a little bit too high, I figured 3 weeks was a perfect time to test that and then sort of like recalibrate. So that's what this experiment's all about. I'm really excited because in a lot of ways, some of these classes are things I've wanted to do for a really long time, or even needed to do for a really long time, but in the like, not monotony, it's not monotonous. You get into a routine. I need to get the words in on specific projects, and like you're only focusing on doing the things that you absolutely have to do. So then growing in other different ways can very easily fall to the wayside. And something about thinking of them as classes and setting aside that dedicated time may be the key. Maybe. So I've had this first week. I'm gonna throw y'all into it, and I'm gonna come back at the very end and let y'all know how it went. Yeah. Okay, it is Tuesday, June 27th, which is the start of my summer semester right there. It is 10:40 and I have just finished my first class, which is Finish Your Damn Novel. And boy did I work today. I wrote 1,625 words in that time on A Closet Full of Cauldrons, and my only goal is 2,500 per week. Admittedly though, this one was a little bit easier because I'd already had the previous chapter in a pretty good state, but obviously it was all past tense. I needed to incorporate a little bit more, like a new scene, a new part of the scene, change everything to present, make it snappier. But in some ways I do think it was easier having the previous draft pulled up right next to it. But 1,625 words? That's awesome. I think I'm going to note that 1,625. Now right now this basically serves as like carved out writing time, but this is the main one that I'm gonna have like homework in, and that I need to actually do these each week. So if I don't get it done in this time, it needs to keep happening around here. But for my first day of class, I'm feeling really good. Good girl. Okay, I am a little late. Oh my god, for my second class. What am I doing? I was just finishing up reading a chapter, but now it is time for brand management. And for this week, that is remaking my YouTube banner and updating that, creating a blog post because I've not done that forever, and updating the website. I have admittedly not even logged into the website in ages, and I really should be better about that. You know? I barely recognize ye. Wow, there was so few archives. Only a year and a half later, no big deal. Okay, I've been at this for nearly an hour, and let me show you what I got. It's not a blog post. It's not really an update. But in the footer section, I have my 2 projects. Woo! I've been trying to figure out how I can move them from there up to like a page of their own under writing life area, but like I can't quite figure out how to make that happen yet. But I like having it there, and if I stick with this sort of weekly thing, weekly goals like this, then I think it'll be really easy to update at the end of each week. Or create something new that I can update at the end of each week. Websites are so hard. You know, I figure the least I can do is at least update the things that are linked so that they're a little bit more relevant and recent. But he's hiding it. 4.5. Dress your family in corduroy and denim. Hi. So I'm now caught up on my TBR jars. I just now created this in Notion and obviously didn't have it before, so I can't remember which month I pulled what. Other than knowing that Cold Fury wasn't for me and I donated that one, I don't know about the rest. I don't think I ever read them in full, so that's fun. But these ones, I know what they were logged as, so now I can take these and throw them away. And what I'm gonna do is take this and make sure that's what my shelves are, is my TBR jars. This does let me check off one thing on my list. Done. Good morning. It is day 2 of the experiment, and boop 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 boop. 10:15. It is short story submissions time, and the goal for the week. This is actually where I have the most assignments, it looks like. This is the fun part of setting my assignments up ahead of time. I too have forgotten. Okay, write and share 1 flash fiction, write 1 essay, find publications, and brainstorm short story number 1. So my goal is to write a short story a month, but write a flash fiction a week and an essay a week, basically. So there's, I think this might be some brainstorming time. Also, where was this? I found out about this because of Nia, but there was a whole like Author Tube Writers conference thing And they had a lot of really cool options going on, and one of them was publishing short stuff with Laura. So Laura has published a lot of short fiction, and I have loved hearing her talk about it. So what I think I'm gonna do is listen to that while I brainstorm some ideas. Yeah. Well, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen. There's one, there's two, three. Okay, I took so many good notes. Laura's presentation was incredible. And I think what I'm gonna do for this week, because there's only 2 days left in this challenge and it's quite short, is exactly 100 words for the concept of bridges. That is definitely flash fiction, 100 words. Oh, this will be quite fun. Exactly 100. Okay, I actually have this super old Scrivener doc from when I did, I think this was the Ray Bradbury challenge. So I'm just gonna add this in here, and I think I'll use this document to just hold all of my short stories and flash fiction over the course of the next little bit. Okay, I'm excited. 100 words, bridges. Tell us about what/who lives under them, nefarious deeds undertaken beneath them, accidents on/beneath them, jumpers, climbers, disastrous tours. Dun, 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 dun. All right, a little bit after 11:40, which was the end of my class. This was actually really fun. I got an idea for one and I'm trying to sort of like work it out, as it does need to be exactly 100 words. Oh man. They also have a bunch from last month's challenge and previous months, so you can kind of like get a vibe and read some fun 100 word stories. I do think I can officially cross something off now. Another thing. Whoop. That is Fine Publications. I have found them. Yay! How are you? Time for the second class of the day, which is all about how to structure a series. I did add submitting to the 100 word story. Now currently all I have for this class for the week is to create a list of my best series and why they're my favorites, and also check whatever I need out from the library if I don't already own it, or like make sure to try and watch it and really analyze the text, or analyze the screenplay, or analyze the movie itself, whatever. That's it, along with I think just generally some brainstorming about the meridian maps, because that's what this one is all about. Is I've written the first one, it's been done for a while, and I basically zero drafted my way through the others, and they incrementally had less and less words because I had an idea for what each book needed to be, but how to like make it the most satisfying series was kind of eluding me, especially because you need all elements to be wrapped up, and I just didn't feel capable of that at the time. And so anyways, that's what I'm trying to figure out for the meridian maps, is not just Annalisa's story, but all of the characters need to have their arc, have their moment, and then have a satisfying conclusion. And also it's a fantasy, so like, don't know what my hair's doing, don't mind it. So obviously there's this huge global war and she's a pirate and then becomes a privateer and then goes back to being a pirate and doing things for her own accord, but also what does her moral compass say? So like, you know, with the backdrop of all this terrible stuff happening that she may or may not have helped cause in part, and also trying to find these maps that may or may not lead to a utopia. How to structure. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and make another Notion and just brainstorm a little bit for this and then brainstorm a little bit for the meridian maps. Yes. Okay, so I typed some ideas up, but I also posted to Instagram, so hopefully I will get some responses and I can go off of that. Also, my other screen was quite a bit of Googling for it. There's different sorts of series, like Miss Marple type of book series, or like Psych the TV show, where you basically get a new mystery each book. Now Miss Marple might have a little bit less growth, let's say, could be completely standalone, as opposed to Psych, which does have eventually some kind of like character growth, but it takes a while, you know, it stretches out. And then you have kind of Classic, where you have to read it completely in order. And for me, I've always thought of the Lunar Chronicles as like a particularly good series where it had a different cast of characters each book, but it was all within the universe and they all needed to tie in together. And I thought it was done in such a beautiful way for the overall story. I haven't read those books in a while, but I just remember being like blown away by it. Percy Jackson's another one that I think is done really well. At least that one follows more of a main character, Percy. And then Fruits Basket for manga is one that I reread all the time that I just really love. There's the Broken Earth trilogy. So I had more examples of like good series, good TV shows, good movies. Like I actually love a lot of the Pirates of the Caribbean, but I think that one's gonna be interesting because it does take a very obvious downhill shift. So it'll be kind of funny to see in a sort of what went wrong sort of way. Don't do this with your pirates kind of thing. The Good Place is amazing. Anyways, there are a lot of examples of like really good, but I find it harder to get like an example of a bad series. I have my Divergent is a bad series. Me throwing that third book across the room. Truly the time I spent on that past the first book honestly just haunts me. But otherwise I found it hard to think of some examples because oftentimes you don't make it far enough in a series if you don't like it. But we all know of a series that's just like disappointed us or like didn't live up to the hype, didn't really meet the expectations, where you're like, I mean, it was okay, but like not as good as the first. That's what I don't want to do. I don't want to end up having like I don't want to have that. I would love to also avoid like the mid-series slump that always seems to happen. So there's just some things around structure that I think is going to be fun to learn and fun to play with. But that's why I also thought it would be cool to maybe study Discworld, because everyone has like a different point of entry that they think is the best place to pick up within the Discworld universe. And some people think certain books in that series, that whole series, are better than others. And so it would just be fun to sort of analyze why that is for my own sake. So that might be like the best case study, but we'll see what answers I get. Later in the weeks to come for this, I actually have the assignment is like structuring the world through the first 5 books, structuring Annalisa's arc through the first 5 books. But I am going to do a little bit of brainstorming. I think the big thing with Annalisa is obviously the first book she becomes part of this pirate crew. She's kind of forced into this because she doesn't have another option. And her mom also ran away with pirates, so she has a little bit of a like chip on her shoulder about the whole thing. And my hope for the whole series is that she really becomes a pirate in her own right, in her own way. We do get to eventually meet her mom, and she's really going to serve as a sort of foil for Annalisa, in all the ways like she doesn't want to be like her, but they're all both pirate women captains and badasses and like having to make tough decisions. It's just the decisions that they do choose. So that's basically where it all needs to end up. Can I do it? Can I do it? I do have this class scheduled until 3, which means I still have 40 minutes left. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and get a head start on all of that though and get to work. Okay, it's now 3, my class is over. For today, I still want to try and get the remaining words in for A Closet Full of Cauldrons, and I also want to write some of the 100-word story, and I need to do some video editing. I think though, now that I've done all 5 of the classes, I think the best thing about this is a lot of this stuff is things I've been meaning to do, but just haven't felt important enough in the grand scheme of everything else that I'm supposed to be doing, you know? So even if I'm not setting aside time, any other time in the week for this, at least I basically have like 3 hours for brand management to make sure I'm doing those little things that are just like not as fun to do. All the website shit, making sure I'm slotting in some reading time, trying to plan more booktube stuff. Honestly, outside of the main projects I've been working on, and video editing, a lot of this other stuff tends to just all fall to the wayside. And this is nice. It is nice to have like specific times set aside that I'm dedicating to those things. Sorry, my partner's in a meeting. Would you believe his door is actually closed right now? I am excited to see what setting aside just even these 3 hours a week minimum does over this 10-week experiment, right? So this also has helped me, okay, because I have like homework assignments that I set ahead of time. This has helped me a little bit in making sure I'm checking off my list for everything else. Trying to get dressed every day has also helped sort of delineate between this is like my fun hangout whatever time and this is like work / school time. So, you know, all good things so far. I'm going to try and do some of my homework and some of my other work, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Where's the computer though? I had to set it down because I was using it to help me watch a video on how to do this hexagon. Okay. So last night I did manage to add 877 words for a total of 2,502, which gave me this bit of my project done. So for today, for Finish Your Damn Novel, I'm going to be working on Project Death exclusively. In between here, I'm also going to once again try and work on this 100-word story. It's funny, for a video I've been working on, I've actually been thinking a lot about first lines. And so yesterday I had an idea for like a new first line of Project Death. So I am not going to go back to chapter 1, but I am going to note it. Which is so funny because this project, I've had the idea for this first line for forever. So we're gonna see. Pull up my notes to myself. Okay. Good. I think it might actually work with the current first line I have, so that'd be nice. We'll see. Okay, I finished this last one in yellow. I actually got to turn it to yellow, which means it's done. Now I am down here and I'm a little bit stuck on this scene. I have also peeled off some of my nail polish, so I'm really stuck. Nail polish that doesn't want to come off. That's when I'm just like, what is going on? So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little movement break. Still stay in this zone. I'm just going to clean up some stuff in the back. Let's see if I can't figure this out. My beautiful cleaning buddy. Okay, well, it is the end of my class. I have picked off almost all my nail polish. But you know what? It looks a little bit better back there. I'm not done yet, but you know. Also, hair's doing all kinds of things. I think moving helped, but ultimately I'm like just on the precipice of the solution, I think. But I did get 2,292 words out of my 5,000 goal for the week. So, not too shabby. And I have plenty of days left to finish this homework. Well, the conundrum. After all that work, this is what I ended up with after all. I changed the pages to look kind of sunsetty, and I did fix the Twitch thing, and you know what? I'm not mad about it. It was a good attempt, self. I've been wanting to play around more with Procreate, and I feel like this did give me the chance. It just didn't work out the way I'd wanted it to. I tried to do a bunch of different things in Canva to fix it, and then just moving stuff around, and I was like, you know what? It's not worth it when this one looks just fine. I like it. And I can check something off. What I really wanted to do. Alright, I changed it again even from last night when I was doing my homework this morning, but I love it. And it actually fits on the mobile version too, which the old one didn't. Yay, yay, yay. And it incorporates what I was originally going for, and I have a cute little tagline. What I've also done, as per my homework, is I was with this bridge idea, right? I think I have the one I want to submit, but it is 103 words, and I also need to get my partner to read it because I have a question about something where I'm like, would it be better to do this or this? So that's my plan. Oh, also, I did film and edit the first part of my Camp Nano video because that starts right here tomorrow. Eek. Can't believe I didn't put it on this calendar, but I'll probably redo this. And now it is time for short story submission class, but it is also time for a stream. I'm late for a very important date. This is hopefully to finish an experiment that I was doing exclusively on stream where I'm trying to write a short story, but I weirdly wrote like a poem during a brainstorming session and then had to actually draft it and then revised it. And so this time should be line editing and hopefully I'll get it done. Okay. Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Now I accidentally deleted some footage here, but I did manage to submit the flash fiction, which was super fun. There's already a July flash fiction going on with the same magazine. I, as mentioned, learned almost all of this through Laura Nettles, but also my friend Phoebe. Phoebe Wood writes. She talks a lot about short stories. She's a slush reader for some magazines, so like lots of great resources. It was very satisfying to nail a story in exactly 100 words. I am excited though to have a lot more time to think about the prompt going forward. Oh, July actually, it's about like camping out or something, nature. It's pretty cool. So I'll leave a link down below if you'd also like to participate in that. And then it was the first day of Camp Nano, so I made a whole vlog for that day. I will also leave that linked down below if you would like to watch it. And that plunges us into Sunday, which means it's the last day to try and finish up all of my homework. Gonna be a bit of a mad dash. I'm gonna start with the main goal, which is complete a scene in Project Death. That scene's about 2,500 words, which will push me over the edge for what I needed to do for this week. That would be awesome. I have about 1, 2, 3, 4 bits of blue to fill in. Just four. And I think that this is actually gonna be okay. There is a little bit about how I want to put in more of the atmosphere at the start of this. And I also have a note to myself that I need for another character that I want to go and put earlier in the story. Very easy small changes, I just don't know that I had done them yet. So let's do this. Well, it only took an hour, but I'm done. No more blue. And actually I ended up adding 487 words. Once again, it's just gonna keep growing. That is 2834. Yay! On Sunday, which means done. So I still have write one essay, brainstorm a short, create a blog post, and update my website. Oh, and check out some series from the library. I think what I'm gonna do is update my book progress on my widget and then make a blog post out of that for camp, if I can figure out how to use the widget in that way. I was told it does that. Can I do that? I do need to check where my progress is. So for a closet full of cauldrons, I was at 17,000. I'm now at 18,373. You know what? Progress is progress. We're not gonna be hating. Save. Hey, look at that. Look at that. This is what we're gonna do with like just a hope and a prayer. We're gonna say 36%. Yay. Oh, make a fuck. Can I still do that on a cauldron? Cauldron? No. How does it pop up again? Okay, I'm gonna make a blog post. Okay. Kind of like the prompt that it automatically does. Hopefully that works. I guess we'll find out. It worked!
I made you an apple.
Oh, thank you, baby. What?
We'll turn it around.
You know what? Thank you. Love. I love you. Love. Kind of looks more like a spade.
I kind of saw that too.
All right, it's all done. That's done. First week done. I feel so good about that. Okay, so let me go over what I managed to complete for the week. Revised over 5,000 words of Project Death. Drafted over 2,500 words of A Closet Full of Cauldrons, wrote and shared 1 flash fiction / submitted 1 flash fiction. This is where we might have like a little asterisk because that's one of the things I've submitted to other contests. But of course, if you're going to be submitting it, you often can't share it. I'd initially made this goal with just my Patreon in mind and I was like, oh, I'll just share them there. But actually Patreon can count as submitting. So I might either share or submit each week. I think that would be really fun. I found publications. I found a lot of publications. I have lists. I curated a list of the best series on Apply. I pulled everything remaining in my TBR jar. I brainstormed my personal rating system by genre. I remade my YouTube banner and updated it. I created a blog post and I updated my website. So actually, oh, I didn't even check this off. More stuff to check. I did not write 1 essay, but the strange part about that is that as I'm doing all of this and sort of activating my brain in, I'd say, at least slightly different ways than I usually do, I got so many ideas. I was texting myself last night. And so I'm excited for this coming week to definitely work through some of those so that hopefully I can check that off for next week. I did not brainstorm short story number 1, partially because I'm in the middle of a short story experiment that I'm trying to finish. I'm line editing something for that. And I did not check out the Discworld series from the library, though I think that is the next step. I think Discworld is going to be the one that I use. Oh, anyways, I feel great about that. Holy shit. That was awesome. Again, what is this hair doing? This was so fun and I'm so pumped to continue doing this for the next 9 weeks. I really do think the biggest thing was just setting aside the time that I don't normally set aside time for it. Like, I've always liked the idea of writing more flash fiction. That's why I wrote it down, writing more flash fiction and submitting more flash fiction. But it always fell far enough to the wayside that as I'm working on like the romance series, as I'm working on YouTube stuff, as I'm working on Project Death, as I'm working on A Closet Full of Cauldrons, as I'm working on a co-written project, like it just goes farther and farther down. But having 3 hours to do it and having it as like a homework assignment, something about that just really helped me. So maybe don't do a whole 5 classes, but I would love to know if you'd be interested in doing something like this. I loved school when it was the classes I wanted to take. I think that's probably true for most people. So now that it's entirely classes that I want to take, I'm like, this is the best thing ever. Entirely curated by me, so it's a little bit biased, but you know. It's also nice to have something that is like due to people, especially with novel writing. It's such a long process that until you even get to like a beta reader stage, you don't often have things due to someone else. You're just constantly like working and tinkering. The flash fiction, the short stories, it's just either to submit or due to my patrons. I think it's just gonna be really nice to have that on a weekly or monthly sort of basis. I do think that I'm going to continue making vlogs, but I'm probably only going to post them on Patreon because I don't want to have to edit them as intensely alongside all the other videos. But I will do wrap-up videos either in the middle or at the very end of the experiment. But that is going to be it for me. Please do comment down below. Let me know what your favorite class you ever took was. And let me know if there's not a class, but like a topic within writing that you've always been interested in, intrigued by, but just, you know, it's hard to find the time. It's hard to find the time as you're going about life, as you're also already writing, to like research and come up with everything else you might need for that little tiny aspect. Yeah, let me know. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon with a new video. Bye.